Hello world, welcome back to another home coffee plan video. And let's brew at home today with your friendly neighborhood barista, me, Riley. We are going to be brewing a washed coffee of the Red Bourbon variety from a farm called Finca El Retiro. And it's located about 30 minutes outside of Guatemala City. And this coffee was produced by someone named Eduardo Rylea. So this year was actually the first year that this particular coffee was produced and exported, and the results are incredible. Something to note about this farm is that it was rented by the Rylea family for over 20 years, and there was coffee already planted, but then it had been completely abandoned. So when Eduardo actually took over and started managing the farm, the first decision was to completely wipe out all of the coffee plants that were already planted and then restart fresh. So let's get into it. We are going to be brewing a French press, but as a single cup. I'm all about the single tiny cups. For our tiny cup French press recipe, we are going to be starting off with 3 tablespoons of the El Retiro. Your grind size should be about a medium coarse. We are going to be brewing this today without a scale, without any fancy equipment, eyeballing it a little bit. Grounds are at the bottom, 3 tablespoons, and we are going to start off with the amount of boiling water that kind of is double the amount of the coffee, if that makes sense. We're gonna pour it off as our bloom. Bed of coffee, water. So we're gonna do that for about 30 seconds. All I ask is that you use a timer. Okay, so we're gonna add the remaining amount of water needed for this recipe, and which is only a cup. Now, we're then gonna place the plunger just on top so it traps it in. I'm gonna start my timer for 2 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes has gone by. We've been letting it sit. Now we are just going to give it, I don't know, like a stir. So that's kind of to disturb the grounds and hope that they go to the bottom. From there, we are going to go another 2 minutes. I highly recommend that you actually have a timer near you, or else your recipe might just be a little off. Should have brought my microwave closer to me to use as a timer. Anyways, even though we are kind of eyeballing this today, try your best to follow a recipe, especially if you're just starting out, and then you can play around from there. All right, so that has been a total of 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And now we are going to gently plunge, very gently. And we don't want to go all the way to the bottom because once again, we don't want to disturb those grounds. And then we are just going to pour it into our cup. Wow, that is like the perfect little cup of coffee. I feel like I say that every time that I've made the perfect cup of coffee. Now it's time we try. A thing to note about French press, which I actually never really thought about before, is that if, say, you are making a chamber full for you and your pals, and you're not planning on serving it right away, or you have a little extra, make sure you pour it into a different vessel, because if not, it's gonna keep brewing in there since the grounds and the hot water are touching the whole time. So just make sure you pour it into something else if you don't plan on serving it right away. Something I should mention as well is that when I first opened this bag of coffee, I just immediately smelled chocolate covered cherries. I'd highly recommend just leaving your beans in your car for about an hour just to get that full experience. Interesting. Okay, so first thing I will say is that I feel we could have done a little bit more water because it is very strong. But once again, coffee is very experimental. Every bean is different, brewing methods are different, timing, water, etc., etc., etc. But what's nice about this is that it has a really nice mouthfeel. It's very full-bodied. Bit of Saskatoon berry. What I'm at now actually gonna try is just adding a bit more hot water to it. There we go. So that's a simple little fix that you can do. If you ever find your coffee is a bit too strong, just add a little touch of hot water. It just has a beautiful mouthfeel. There is a slight acidity to it, but it's definitely more on those comfortable notes of mixed nuts and chocolate. I like it. That's our time for today. Play around with the amount of coffee you add. It's all about experimenting, but I think if you just make small adjustments each time, it's not like your coffee is gonna go to waste. And don't get down on yourself. In this community and world of specialty coffee, you feel like it might be a lot of pressure to brew a cup, but don't fret. We cannot be perfect, but just try your best so that we can honor the beautiful beans that we are brewing. Ta-ta for now.